this was really cool that you guys did a mezcal.
Yeah, we actually did two mezcals, one for online and one for retail shops. And so what had happened is we were connected with Arik Torin, who owns Fidencio. The brand is Fidencio. The distillery that makes it is the Del Amigo distillery in Oaxaca.
Sure, but you can find bottles of mezcal that say
Oh yeah,
Fidencio.
that
That's
say
their brand.
Fidencio on
Yeah.
them, and please look out for them because they're awesome.
We've been building a mezcal section too, so I got to check them out.
Yeah, seriously, well worth your time. They're
Nice.
making great mezcals,
And would just be fun to have that next to yours too for the
exactly right. A
comparison.
Fidencio and a Fidencio.
Yeah, because mezcals you usually don't see barrel aged as much.
You don't see them barrel aged. Yeah, and so what had happened is because we're single cask nation. When we were connected with them, we said, we'd love to work with you, but we only do cask gauge stuff. And he said, that's okay. We could do like a reposado or something. So we had just bottled a wild turkey, and we had a fresh wild turkey barrel. And we said, we'll send you a wild turkey down. So we sent the wild down. They put Pilar Espadín mezcal in there. And I went down 10 months later so they can open up the cask and I get to taste it. And we did that. So I'm down there. We open the cask. I'm tasting it. I'm falling in love. And I look up and I see in glass this much darker liquid. I said, what is that? And he said, oh, actually, this was a project we were working on years back that just kind of fell through. So, okay, go on, do tell. He said, so the mezcal that's in that it was like a glass demijohn or whatever.
Which is how they age mezcal usually.
Right.
That's maturation for mezcal where wood is resting. But yeah.
He said the mezcal itself spent 5 years in Jack Daniel's casks, and then the whole sale went through. I don't know if like the customer like shut their doors or whatever, so they just took the spirit and put them into glass, and they've just been sitting there for 4 years. I said, do you mind if I get a taste? And I have to say this really quickly. Before we went to taste the reposado that we did, we were in where they do the distilling and the roasting of the agave, and I had just tasted some 14-year-old agave that had been roasting for like a day or something, and it was so delicious and so sweet and fruity and just everything you could ever want. And then when I tasted that mezcal, the one that you have on your shelf, it tasted like the liquid version of roasting agave. Like everything that I was worried about, that 5 years in cask, that the wood would overtake the agave, went out the door. The wood put the agave on a pedestal and just said, pay attention. This is agave. This is what you're here to taste. And the wood was like a frame to the picture.
Yeah. No, that was the biggest
thing.
How
much do you have? And we bottled everything they had. So that was, it says single cask nation, but it was a batch really. And there was about maybe 780 bottles at one time, and there's not much left anymore.
Yeah, I know that. And I remember tasting that first and being, I mean, when you get, we have a illegal mezcal, and I think they're resting that in barrels for the repos. It's less than 3 years for sure. Probably less than 2 years even for the añejo, or about 2 years or so. And for that much of, like you're saying, the agave flavor, there's still like the smoke that is clearly coming from the mezcal production, not from the ex bourbon or ex Tennessee whiskey barrel. Right. There's just so much of the agave spirit still coming through, which really blew me away for how much time it spent in wood.
I'm so glad you saw that too. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's a super fun one. That's another one that, please don't buy them all because I need one customers.